Alright guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Rage Toys Samurai Force Summer. And this is basically a third party Michelangelo, Mikey from the Tmnt. And we've looked at their Spring, who's their third party Leo. And we also looked at Donnie, who's Autumn, who's their third party Donnie. And Master, who is the third party Splinter. And they've gone through some interesting lengths to get away from these copyrights and stuff. They've pretty much designed the turtles in their own style, in their own fashion, and then included a custom kit with parts that would make them more in line with how we would know Ninja Turtles to be. So pretty interesting. So as you can see there, the custom kit is called Rave Toys. So will be interesting to take a look at all of these. So without further ado, let's open up these packages and see what we get inside. So just quickly, we'll go over the packaging, since this packaging is actually pretty interesting. They've actually gone to the great lengths of doing some nice artwork on the front here, and also embossing it with the is it embossed with foil, and it goes all around the figure. Really nice packaging. And they actually did a flap. The only you could pause and read that. Really cool artwork. Not so sure about the dialogue though. The one thing I would complain about is the fact that this is not a window, so you can't just open it and see what's inside, as is usually the case with packagings with flaps and stuff. And on the back, there's sort of a read up on this Samurai Force lore, if you want to pause and read that. And yeah, pretty much everything else is just Samurai Force on all sides there. Interestingly enough, there's no indication of his name on this package, but we know that his name is Summer from the listings on 5K Toys and stuff. So kind of interesting they didn't include that here. Alright, so let's take a closer look at Mikey here. Zooming in, you can see quite a lot of details going on here. There's not a square inch of this figure that doesn't have like a wash or something going on. It's really impressive. You feel like each time you look at one of these, you find something new that you didn't see before. I do like this mask and stuff. However, I do have a nitpick, which we'll get to a little bit later on. You can see the texture on the skin matches the previous ones that came before. See all that detail going on the shell there. All on the gauntlets and stuff, really nice. Washes and stuff on the hands. Just really impressive. Always love these Rage Toys figures. You can see all that lovely detail going on there on the shell. These are a little bit softer. Of course, to put the nunchucks. See the tail going on there. Even the tail has a wash going on there. Really nice. Getting all down to the feet. Sculpting and stuff on this, just really impressive. And they even sculpted the bottom of the feet. You can see on this one that they actually went they went pinless. If you look at Donnie, you can see that they did have pins, although they did disguise them fairly well. They actually gave the pins some texturing and stuff, but still nicer to not have them at all, I guess. Yeah, just a really nice figure, to be quite honest. Really happy to get this, and happy to add him to the other two. But now I'm kind of annoyed that the other two don't have the improved articulation as he does. Who knows, maybe someday they might do a reissues on those. So taking a look at Mikey's soft goods, it does, don't know what you would call this. It's not quite a scarf, but it is held in place by these shoulder pads. So once you pull those off, you can see he does have pegs at the bottom there. And this I saw in the promo art and stuff. This can be reversed. So if you wanted a brown sort of scarf thing going around there, you can do that. Or likewise, if you wanted to just take off the cloth altogether and just plug in the shoulder pads, it also does look pretty cool. So I think my biggest gripe with this figure is the fact that they didn't give him a helmet. If you look at Donatello, he has one, as well as Leonardo. So it's kind of strange that they didn't give Mikey his own individual helmet with his own unique crest at the top there. Instead they just gave him the masthead, which is no problem. It looks pretty cool as an alternate. But then they just gave you an alternate head sculpt, which was simply without the black mask on top. Kind of a missed opportunity, I think. But there's still hope. Maybe they might give us a helmeted head for Mikey and Raph's custom kit. They did something similar for Leo and Donnie's, so one could hope. Another complaint I have with the figure is that once you have the arms there and you try to rotate them, it's going to unplug the shoulder pads out of the socket, and there's no way for them to flex or get out of the way, so they're just going to be unplugged every time you try to raise the arms up like that, which is kind of annoying. Getting right into Mikey's articulation, he can look up only about this far, which is pretty much none at all. He does look down very far though. He does have some tilt and of course rotation. This old ponytail does rotate. The arm does rotate and it goes up about this high. Is a bicep swivel, which is kind of stiff. Mikey is now double jointed now. The other two were simply able to do like around 90 or a little slightly better than 90. So he's improved the articulation over there with those double jointed elbows. The wrist is still a ball joint, though it seems to have a lot more range than the last two. The torso is still pretty much just a swivel because it barely goes back and forward. Unfortunately, he does now also feature a thigh swivel, which wasn't included on the other two. Also newly added to Mikey, he does have drop down hips, so he does kick forward quite a bit more than the other two. Donnie wasn't so bad, but Leo I think is the most restricted out of all of them. He does kick back about that far. It can, if you drop them down, can split about this far. He does have double jointed knees. Because of how far out they sculpted this knee pad, it does look kind of weird when you bend the knee from certain angles. His ankles go back about this far, goes forward about this far, and he does have ankle rocker. And there's one piece of articulation that I actually only just discovered, and that is the fact that his ankles could actually swivel. So that is pretty nice as well. And so in package, as default, he comes with these two grabbing hands, and we'll see what those are for when we take a look at the custom kit. He does come with two open gesture hands. He does come with two grabbing hands. He does come with two nicely sculpted nunchucks, and they do have metal chain, and those do fit nicely into his grabbing hands, or they fit nicely into the pouches on the back of his shell. Each nunchuck does come with some secret functionality. These caps can be pulled off on either end. And at the bottom of those does have 2 peg holes. He does come with 2 grappling hooks in the closed position and 2 grappling hooks in the open position. And either of those can be plugged into the hole at the bottom of the nunchuck. He does come with this string, which has one of those end caps on it. I was trying to figure out what this was used for, and then I realized you could just plug it into the end of the nunchuck, which is attached to the grappling hook, and then you have a grappling hook that you could use. Always good for secret infiltrations. He does also come with some nicely painted and sculpted crossbows, and those just slip right onto his wrist. He does come with this rope launching device that sits on his back. These 2 levers can be moved. Not sure what the purpose is. Maybe it's for control. These cylinders can actually roll. To the top of this device, you can actually plug the grappling hooks in either the closed or open positions. He also comes with 2 sculpted ropes, and they are slightly flexible, but they don't have any bendy wire in them or anything. And those can be plugged into the rope shooting device. Let's call it a grapple device. And to the ends of those ropes, you can plug the grappling hooks. Once again, in either the open or closed position. Something to keep in mind, these do unplug, so be very careful because they're quite small, and if you have carpet, those might go missing. So once you have the ropes and the grapple set up as you want it, you can just peg it into his back. And it is quite a tight fit, and now you could have him shooting off his grapple hooks. Something else I noticed you could do is take the ropes and plug it into that hole on the nunchuck. So then you have something of a billy club, I guess. If you put the grapple on the end. Or you could even make that rope longer by plugging it into one another and then putting the grapple on the end. And with enough finagling, you could give him something of a throwing out the grapple hook sort of pose. As shown before, he does come with an alternate head sculpt. It's not much different than the other one, except the fact that the mask is not covering his eyes anymore. And this one features a green ponytail versus a black ponytail. And those actually can be swapped around, so if you want the ponytail to be green, you can have that. To swap off the heads, simply pop it off and then just pop on the new head. Lastly, in the base kit, he does come with this spinning nunchuck effect, and this simply plugs into the nunchucks. You just unplug one end and plug it in, and then you can have him with his spinning nunchucks, and that looks really awesome. Now that we've taken a look at the base offering, we're going to take a look at the custom kit and what comes in it. So first up in the custom kit, he does come with a miniature spray can, which is just silver with a little gold on top there. Does look good. And he comes with 3 different spray effects. So you have the green, you have the yellow, you have the blue. And if you remember those hands that he came with default in the package, those were meant for holding the spray can. So that basically slips in here like that. Next up, he comes with a skateboard, and it does have some nice details on the bottom there. The wheels are able to roll, and there's some decals going on here. To go with that skateboard, there are 2 thrusters. So if you didn't want a regular skateboard look, you could get something of a more futuristic one. And you'll notice some grooves on the side there. You match those up with the side of the skateboard that's tilting up. And basically just slide them in. I have to admit though, I'm not really a fan of this method of attaching those, because I think over time, constant putting them on and off, they're gonna scratch the paint off the skateboard. So once I put them on, I might just leave them on. So once you slide them on all the way, this is what they look like, and it looks pretty cool, and it does look pretty seamless. It does come with 2 flame effects, and those are for attaching to the skateboard. The end of the thrusters are ball jointed, so you can move those flames around however you wish. Alternately, you can unplug the nunchucks again, and you can plug the flames into the nunchuck. So now we have a torch. And for some reason, this is giving me Soul Reaver vibes. Like how you could pick the torch off the walls and kill vampires and stuff. It does come with 2 rubbery foot pads, and these are for gripping his feet when he's on the skateboard. There are 3 different ports you could plug them in, so if you prefer it on the back, at the furthest point, you can do that. And basically his feet just slides right into them like this, and it keeps the skateboard on his feet. Perhaps the most important accessory, the Michelangelo head sculpt. That nice grin going on there. And you have the soft goods bandana at the back. And of course, you simply unplug this head. Plug that one in. And you can see it looks really, really nice. Another accessory that comes in the custom kit is the headphones. A bit oversized, but it is nicely detailed. See those buttons there, and this actually plugs into this hole, which is right here on its belt. And if you actually look at the headphones, you can see that there are grooves that line up with his mask, so it does stay on fairly well. It does look slightly oversized, but I'm okay with it because Tmnt are slightly smaller than humans, so it would make sense that they're using a Walkman that's a bit too large for them. And lastly, it comes with another one of those spinning nunchuck effects, which you could plug the nunchuck into as well, the nunchuck handle. And once you have him with everything on him, he does look extremely nice. So he stands about 4¼ inches tall, a little bit shorter. He is next to Samurai Force Spring. He is next to Samurai Force Autumn. He is next to Premium DNA's Earthworm Jim. He is next to Jada Toys Mega Man. He is next to Jack Specific Sonic. He is next to Jada Toys Ken. He is next to CT Toys Brown Suited Wolverine. He is next to NECA Mirage Donatello. And then finally here he is next to Marvel Legends Ant-Man. So in closing, I think the figure is really, really fantastic. They did a really nice job on the sculpting and painting on this, and the assortment of accessories and the playability of it, it's really fantastic, to be honest. Especially if you pick up the custom kit, which I think most people buying this would are probably gonna do. It definitely is quite impressive with all the accessories that they provided and stuff, and this only came up to what, $58. The base figure is $43, sorry, and the custom kit was $21, and together they sell it for $58 plus shipping. And this is on 5K Toys. Some nitpicks for this figure: those shoulder pads, pretty annoying how they peg into the shoulders. So once you try to rotate the arms upward, it's going to unplug those shoulder pads from the peg holes. So that's pretty annoying. And another thing is, well, more of a nitpick, is the fact that they didn't give him one of those helmeted head sculpts like Leo and Donnie came with. I find that pretty annoying because now he doesn't fit in with that aesthetic, in my humble opinion. But he still does look pretty cool, and hopefully we'll get a helmeted head sculpt with Raf someday. They did bicep cuts, double jointed elbows, thigh cuts, drop down hips, and ankle swivels. So all of that really is certainly welcome. I kind of wish they did a little bit more work on the head in terms of allowing it to look up more, because just like the rest of them, it doesn't look up too far. So hopefully this review was helpful to anybody who was on the fence about getting this. And until next time, we'll take care.